Tasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupena Ayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripadam Maham Vande Sri Guru Dinatharanam Paramanandam Aravam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpurubhyascha Kripasundabhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. So welcome to Shriman Mayapur. I'm very grateful and fortunate to be in your association. His Grace Kratu Prabhu asked me to speak to you about book distribution. And as you can see here, we're just having a seminar in this classroom about book distribution, 5-day seminar, 30 hours. So I believe you're all from the Delhi area or somewhere around North India. So I hope you like Mayapur.
Very nice.
There's a lot of parrots out here. There's a lot of birds, so a bit of noise is going on. So the topic of today is book distribution. Correct? Alright. How many of you have done book distribution so far? Almost everybody. Okay. Some are thinking about it. Some are planning. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the person who is most dear to me is one who gives his knowledge to others. If you want to become dear to Krishna, you share this with others. It is one thing to just be an end user. Okay, I'm fine. But Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers, he says, that is not such a good idea. He says, Prayena deva manevasma mukti kama maunam charanti vijanena parartha nishtana itan vihaya kripanami muksha eko nanyam tadasya sharanam pramatavarupashi. He calls them kripanas. He says they're small-minded, they're misers. You know misers? Kripana? Huh? What is the opposite of kripana? Udar or Brahman. Brahman is one who is giving generously because he's not insecure. He doesn't feel, oh, there is lacking. Because he knows there is unlimited supply. Krishna can give unlimited. A Kripana is a person who is always, no, I can't give you right now. By the way, I already gave at the office. I already gave last time on the festival, so now I can't give. So it's Kripana. He's very small-minded, miserly. Even though he may have a lot, but he cannot give because he does not see the bigger picture. But the Brahman is a person who will give very liberally, very generously. So Prahlad is saying that a person who goes to Himalayas or to cave or to monastery or just doing for himself, for his own sake, he is actually small-minded. And he is also vimukta maninas. He is liberated only in his own mind. He thinks I'm very great, but actually no one else can appreciate his greatness. Whereas a devotee, because he's always in the mood of giving, everybody can appreciate. The previous verse to that, Prahlad says, Naibod vijay paraduratya vaitaranyas tavirya gayana mahamritamagna chitta shuchetato muvicheta saindriyartam maya sukhayam varamudvato vimudha. Srila Prabhupada was commenting on this verse and saying that in the mood of Prahlad, I'm always thinking how to save the fallen fools and rascals, vimudhas, people who are simply engaged in maya sukh, they're just chasing sense gratification. How can I help them? How can I work for their benefit? Do you know how Krishna consciousness started in Delhi? No. Prabhupada was going on a train from north to south, and he was passing through Delhi with a small group of devotees. And as the train was parked in Delhi station, now you have to be awake. I know it's early in the morning, but you have to be here. So the train stopped and one man came on the platform and he got on the train and he started talking to Prabhupada and he said, Swamiji, we have to have a center here in Delhi. You need to have a place here. And I will help you. So Prabhupada was in the compartment with about 8 devotees. So he said, you and you, get off the train. Imagine you travel with your Gurudev somewhere, and he says, you and you, get off the train. And he gave them 50 rupees loan. He said loan, not donation, loan. You go and you start a temple here with 50 rupees. Are you ready? This may happen today, you know. You're on bus or train or somewhere, and your Guru says, okay, now, you've been trained sufficiently, you've been doing this for 3 months or maybe a few years, so go out and preach. So what they do, they grab their bag, jumped off the train, and started something in Delhi. And now how many temples we have in Delhi?
Around 14,
15, and so many gatherings, so much namhat, thousands of devotees, tens of thousands of devotees. Why? Because Prabhupada had vision. He was not small-minded. He wasn't thinking, oh, no, these are my people, they have to serve me, they have to stay with me. No, he said, okay, they are trained, let them go, let them do, let them try something. Yes, they will make mistakes. Yes, they will struggle. Yes, some of them may not make it, but it is for their eternal benefit. Every step you take towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards you. Just over here, Jalangi is just a few yards. Over the Jalangi is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, where he would write his books and songs and poems. Over 100 books he wrote. And he was envisioning this Adbhut Mandir, and he was saying that I'm waiting for the day when the Russians and the Prussians and the whites and the blacks and with their Indian brothers will chant Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. So he had that vision. He was the district magistrate. That was the biggest post under the British Raj. He was going to Krishnagar court, and the British built a railway just for him to go to office. That means you have accomplished if somebody builds a railway for you to go to office. But his whole mood was preaching Krishna consciousness. So every night he was up writing and chanting. And later he went to Calcutta and he knocked on people's doors and he collected 1 rupee from every door. And he built Yoga Pit. Have you gone Yoga Pit temple? That temple was built by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, going door to door collecting 1 rupee. And he was the district magistrate. He was sitting in court. So you should never think in your mind, oh, I'm a businessman, oh, I'm a professor, or I'm a teacher, I'm educated, I'm aristocratic. I'm not going to talk to these normal people and ask them for money. I have nothing to get from them. If the Thakur can do it, everyone can do it. Why? Because it is an expression of his humility. It's an expression of his magnanimity. He wants to give everyone the chance to take part in Krishna consciousness. In a similar way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sent out Thakur Haridas and Nityananda Prabhu to share this Krishna consciousness. So it's not that we just send out the new guys, the new bhaktas. Okay, you guys, you go, you do the books. No, it's for everybody, and especially for the senior men. Prabhupada himself, he was writing these books, he was publishing them, he was living in Vrindavan, but he was going to Delhi. He had a small room in Chippiwara, and that was his office, and from there he would do all his work. And it took him 8 years to publish 3 volumes of first canto of Bhagavatam, because it's a big job. When the devotees asked him, why did you wait so long? Prabhupada met his Gurudev in which year? 22. In which year he went to America? 65. How many years is that? 43 years. 43 years of preparation. So they asked him, why didn't you come earlier? 77, 65. I mean, you're old man. Prabhupada said, I had to prepare myself. I knew that if I did not have the books, my mission would not be successful. So now we're very fortunate. Books are here, as you can see. Books are available, especially in India. Widely available, by the mercy of BBT. Now the question is, are we ready? Are we trained? So, you can later on take pictures of these, but there is 4 laws in book distribution. The first rule is strong sadhana. Your sadhana has to be strong. Srila Prabhupada said that 90% of your spiritual advancement comes from chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Golokera Prevadana Harinam Sankirtan. All this potency comes from the holy name. So if you take shelter of the holy name will empower you to spread this Sankirtan movement. Krishna Shakti Vinana Hetara Pravartan. It is Krishna's potency. It's not our strength or our intelligence or our ability to speak. It's Krishna's potency. And people are looking for sincerity. They're looking for purity. They're looking for someone who is actually their friend. They're dying to have friends. Why is all this social media so big? Have any idea? People are looking for friends. And they say, I got 5,000 friends on social media. But actually, they don't have any friends. If you know, Uktaram Yagitapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram Suridham Sarvabhutanam Yatvam Shanti Richati. If you know Krishna is the well-meaning friend of all living entities, the proprietor and enjoyer of everything, then you actually have a friend. All these other people, they're not your friends. They're just wasting your time. And you're just killing time till time kills you. So do yourself a favor and get off the devices and off devices. All these tools can be used, but they should also be put into flight mode, switch off mode. At least when the sun goes down, evening time, till you've completed your japa. Can you do that? I know, it's tapasya. How can the world go on if my phone is switched off, right? I mean, the sun will not rise and the moon will not shine, right? No. Did you ever realize how the world goes on even if you're not online? It's possible. So do yourself a favor and increase the quality of your life. Go offline, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. Just when you work or when you have to be available. In this way you can actually do your sadhana, your bhajan. You can actually chant Hare Krishna with focus. And read Prabhupada's books. Because when you go up to people and you show them the book, and then people ask you, what does it say in that book? And you say, I don't know. My Gurudev, he wrote these books for me to sell and for you to read. And they will not be very convinced. So they want to know, what does it mean? They will ask you, what about that banyan tree? Urdhva shakam ashvatam prabhuravayam So what does it mean? What's that banyan tree? You know? Roots going up and branches going down and leaves and all that. Is this botany class? Huh? You have to know. But how will you know if you don't read? Huh? So every day read Prabhupada's books at least for 1 hour. We have done surveys around the world. Less than 10% of our members have all of Prabhupada's books, and less than 10% have read all the books. How many of you have read all the books? Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books. 2 people out of 20. Yeah, that's about 10%. That's the usual. That's average. So, charity starts at home. Give yourself the greatest gift. Not new mobile phone, not new computer, not new car, not new jewelry. Give yourself the greatest gift. Full set of Prabhupada's books. I was 15 years old. I was in 9th grade. I was going to school in Switzerland. I met the devotees. I started reading Prabhupada's books. And I said, I want all these books. So they thought he's a young kid, he doesn't have any money. So they brought me old books from the library, used books. And I gave them all the money I had. $500. In those days, a lot of money. Because I'd saved up, I'd worked, so many jobs, so many things I did to gain that money. And I thought, this is so much beautiful books. Let me give everything. And the devotee was shocked. How does this kid have so much money? So, in the last 36 years in Krishna consciousness, Krishna has allowed me to do a few things. I built this school here, this building, 20 years ago. I have 3 children. I've traveled the world 20 times. I was on GBC for 10 years as the Minister of Book Distribution. By Prabhupada's mercy, I'm amongst the few who have distributed most books in this world. Honestly speaking, I have business, I've done a few things. Krishna has given me everything. And I still consider to this day that the best investment that I ever made in my life was getting a full set of Prabhupada's books. It was the best investment that I've ever made. I've learned English through Prabhupada's books. I've learned preaching. I've learned psychology, philosophy, politics, economy, everything from Prabhupada's books. So you don't have to go to university. You don't have to become a PhD. Okay, if you need a degree, go and get your degree. But what I'm saying is that Sankirtan, book distribution, is the school of life. If you want to get educated, go on Sankirtan. You will learn everything on book distribution. Am I exaggerating? Okay, otherwise feel free to object. And you talk to any Prabhupada disciple, you talk to any Guru, Swami, GBC, what was the most happy, the most blissful, the most ecstatic time of your life? They will say, when I was preaching and distributing books and just fully dedicated to mission. That was the most happy, blissful time in my life. So if you want to be happy and blissful, go on Sankirtan. Your sadhana must be strong because that's the foundation. You see that house over there? On the picture, the drawing on the wall? Here on the wall. So 20% of your money, when you build a building, 20% of your money goes into the foundation. You have to dig a hole and put foundation. If you don't have foundation, your thing will just be finished. Have you been over to Gaurnagar? You know Gaurnagar? All these projects, these big houses near a hospital on both sides. Many of those buildings are like this because people did not want to spend the money for proper foundation. And this is very shifting ground here. There's a lot of water in the ground. When they built TOVP, they put 2,300 huge pillars into the ground. For 2 years, they were just piling, putting huge pillars in. And then they put a huge slab on top of it. So the whole TOVP is floating like a float. So even if the earth moves and things shift, the whole thing just stays in one place. In a similar way, in our own lives, things are constantly shifting and moving, and you have to constantly adjust and readjust. If you don't have a deep foundation in sadhana, the whole thing will break and fall apart, and it will all go finished. So, sadhana must be strong. And then, get books. Are you carrying books with you? No? You can get books from Sankirtan department. Wherever you are, you can get books. Just make it a standard practice. Wherever you are, carry Prabhupada's books. Because when you travel, even in Delhi, people will say, oh, you got tilak. You ISKCON, right? ISKCON devotee. You have Bhagavad Gita? And you say, don't have it. It makes you look stupid, isn't it? People ask you for the book and you don't have the book. It makes you feel terrible. So always carry books with you. Okay? It's a general rule. Always carry books wherever you go. And then, the more you show, the more you sell. You have to take the books out of your bag and put them in people's hands. Otherwise, they will not be able to appreciate. So get the books and show people the books. And number 4, you must organize. But that's obvious. Since you live and survive in Delhi, you're already organized. Otherwise, here you can't live in that city because it's so busy and so much is going on. So you found time to come here to Mayapur because this is the home of the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This spiritual revolution started here. And from here, this is the epicenter. From here, the waves are expanding in concentric circles. And it's being felt all over the world. I'm in San Francisco, the westernmost point and the most degraded place on the planet. And people are feeling the weight of Prabhupada's books. So Delhi is doing a lot. The question is, what am I doing? How can I make a difference? So work with these 4 laws and your book distribution will increase tremendously. Now you can do this in different ways. You can do this by going into buses or trains or having a book table in a busy part of town. That's one way how to do it. You go to a busy area, you put a table, and you're just there. And people will come to you, and you just distribute many books like that. Others will go shop to shop, office to office, restaurant to restaurant, door to door, and meet people where they are. I was in Gujarat, and with the Vice President, Navina Prabhu's assistant, what's his name again? No. In Ahmedabad, the Vice President. Every day for 2 hours he goes on book distribution. So we just drove to some residential neighborhood, and we just walked around and did kirtan in that colony, you know, just for 10 minutes, just chanting and clapping and drum. And people just came out of their houses. And then we went again around door to door with books. And we just said, today we're meeting all the nice people who are living here in this area, and we're presenting them Bhagavad Gita. And everybody took. And people were giving 500 rupees, 1,000, 2,000 rupees, just donation, anything you like to contribute. They're just so happy somebody's coming to our neighborhood and is doing kirtan, you know? So going door to door, a great way to meet people. Wonderful. Then, some of you may be in business, so you have many acquaintances, so you can ask them to sponsor books and gift books to their employee, to their customers, to their friends and colleagues. That's one way how to distribute books. But I found personally the most satisfying way to distribute books is one-on-one. Because you have to actually talk to the person, you have to convince them, and there's a great taste and satisfaction in that. Because you know it's a victory for Lord Chaitanya. You have to make a special effort to do that. So book distribution is unlimited. And initially it may be a little daring, a little scary, because as conditioned souls we have 2 main fears. The first fear, you know, besides death, taxes, and public speaking, the first fear that people have is the fear of rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. Everybody wants to be accepted. So it's important to know that nobody can refuse you or reject you because Krishna loves you and Krishna has accepted you eternally as his part and parcel. So never become discouraged. How many times did Prabhupada fail? How many times did Prabhupada get refused and rejected? Can you give me a rough estimate? Countless times. Countless times. You read Lilamrita? You read Prabhupada's life? You know about Jhansi? League of Devotees? Prabhupada tried. He tried hard. He went there. He preached. He initiated one disciple. He put on programs. He did so much. And then the building was taken away. And he saw it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And he had to move on. It's funny because Chowpatty Temple is on Munshi Marg. And Governor Munshi was the same guy whose wife had taken away Jhansi. And Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan is right next door. So Prabhupada was giving a talk there and he looked to inventory. Something is disturbing you right now? Not really, huh? You're peaceful. Well, just wait till you get a little older, you know. There will always be something that pains, something that hurts, right? And you're thinking, oh, did I lock my door? Did I pay that bill? You forget about all these things. Not that they're not there, but you're not worried, you're not bothered by it. This morning, I was reading in 11th canto Shriman Bhagavatam, Navayogendra's instruction to Maharaj Nimi. And beautiful verses. Bhayam dityan viveshatasya ishadapitasya viparayos smriti. That fear arises when we see things separate from Krishna. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatrascha chaisatrike kakala pratyabhayanamasya yatashantasyus tushti pushti kshut abhayanugasam. Just like when you eat, there is taste, there is satisfaction, and the hunger goes away. In a similar way, when you practice bhakti, all ignorance, all fear and anger, it all goes away. And you feel happiness, you feel satisfaction. All these beautiful verses are there in the Bhagavatam. But if I don't read the Bhagavatam, then I'm cheating myself. So don't cheat yourself of this greatest opportunity. I know you can waste a lifetime on Netflix and on social media and on your phone, but that's a miserable life. Do you know that Prabhupada started this movement without the internet? Can you imagine? He started this ISKCON movement without a mobile phone, not even telephone. He wrote letters by hand. Later on he typed them or dictated them. When was the last time you wrote a letter by hand? You have to think really hard, right? When did I write my last letter? Not just a little note, you know. I'm in the temple, see you at breakfast. No, a letter by hand. And then you put it in an envelope and you wrote the address and the stamp and you mailed it. When was the last time? It's hard to imagine, right? They put a telephone in Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan, and then they went to Loy Bazaar and they called Prabhupada in middle of the night, late. Prabhupada picked up the phone and they were really excited. It's working, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, yes, of course it's working. Take the phone out of my room, it's disturbing me. I have to translate. So all this gadgets and technology, people think that they're more connected, but actually they're totally disconnected. You can be in a crowd and be lonely, or you can be alone and be totally connected. So when you connect to the Sankirtan potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're in the current of life. You actually become empowered. And that is the most precious, the most satisfying experience that you can have. Questions? I don't know what type of book distribution you do. I don't know much about your backgrounds or your plans. So we're going to keep this short and snappy. We got another 32 minutes till 8 o'clock because I got a whole day of teaching ahead of me. And so do you. So, questions, whatever is relevant. Yes?
While distributing books, most people say that, oh, we already have these, and yeah, we've read. So how do you tackle questions when they say we have this already and we don't want to give, we have
So
it?
there's two ways to react when they say, oh, I already have. You can say, okay, next, useless, next, next, next. And in this way you become more and more discouraged and more. But if you say, what? You already have? Wonderful! That's great! Did you read it? Do you like it? And you know, it makes them feel like, oh, I got something valuable, I got something nice. But otherwise, if they say I already have it and you just drop them, then they feel, did I say something wrong? You understand?
Yes.
So you have to commend them, you have to compliment them. Oh, wonderful! In any business, 70% is repeat customers. Repeat customers are the most valuable customers. Most of our books go to people who already have books. So, you already have, so which one do you have? Oh, you have Gita. Okay, here is next one, Krishna book. Story of Krishna, spoke Gita. Here's Prabhupada Lilamrita, biography of the author. Oh, you completed that already? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. Just 18 volumes. Continue with that. If you like it, just continue. I meet people sometimes every single year and they take new books, Why? Because they like me and they like the experience that they got from taking the books. Have you met people in Delhi who are so accustomed to meeting devotees that every time they give, because they just feel so good about giving?
Yeah.
Have you met people like that?
I've met people.
They say, I have many of your books, but they cannot refuse because it's just too nice of an exchange. It's too nice of an experience. So,
sometimes they will do very big donation also. That's
yeah.
Just give a book and they give a donation.
Yeah.
My 10 times the price of the book also.
Yeah, you can say, okay, make gifts, give to others, help us spread the cause. So sometimes they may say, I already have. Then you say, well, can you make a contribution to help give to others who are not so fortunate like you? Vidya Dham is the greatest charity. And they give. You give them one book, then you may give some books to some students or some people who do not have money. Like that. So, but it's a mindset. Oh, he already has. Useless. Okay. It's like a person says, I'm Christian. And you go, you think that person will want to take a book from you? Oh, I'm a Muslim.
Wonderful.
You say, wonderful, inshallah. It's great. You're my brother. And the person goes like, new music in my ears, Somebody who appreciates, somebody who likes me. They will give. They're very charitable people. They have principles. They will stick to their principles. I asked them, you do namaz? Huh? Do you do, what's their Chaturmasi, what do you call it? Ramadan? Yeah, Ramazan. You do that? Yes, okay. Can you give donation? Yes, of course. Huh? So see the positive. Don't see, oh, my mind has a problem. He already has that book. And always carry a variety of books. In this way you can always give more. Sometimes they may not have our Gita, they may have other Gitas. That happens also, right? So always good to ask them, is it as it is? Is it by Prabhupada? Is it by ISKCON? Or is it a different one? I don't mean this little, Gita Press, Gorakhpur, little thing, I mean like full Gita, complete. Because before Prabhupada, and they want to know what is the difference, right? So you tell them what is the difference. There was 400 editions of Gita in English before Prabhupada made his Gita. And you know what? Around the world outside of India, there was 0 devotees of Krishna. And when this Gita came out, and now we have already given out 500 million, 500 million Gitas. And now there is millions of devotees all over the world, in every country of the world, because of this Gita. Just like when you go and you buy medicine, you want to get the real thing, right? You don't want something substandard. So you want the real quality. So take this, try it out for yourself, see how it feels like. People know ISKCON is a brand name. ISKCON stands for quality. But that means we also have to behave like that. So when people see you, when you're on the street, then what is the first thing people see? Huh?
How much enthusiastic you are.
How do you see that? What is the first thing you look when you see a person? It's here. You smile. Huh? But if you look morose and depressed and dookie, then people take one look at you and they think, if I will read your book, I will become like you. As they say in Bangla, kichu lagbena, I don't need it. I don't want it, They take one look at you and within 1 second they will decide yes or no. One look. You have one moment to make an impression. That means you not only have to look bhakta, you also have to feel bhakta. You have to feel happy in Krishna consciousness. So before going out onto the street, look into the mirror and ask yourself, not just is my tilak straight, but would I like to meet this person? Does this person look like a happy person? And if not, why not? What can I do to change it? So the second thing people see is your shirt. There's a saying, first you dress and then you address. People will look at you and then they will decide, yeah, If I give this fellow 2,000 rupee, he's not gonna waste it on alcohol or drugs or stupid stuff. So he looks like he knows what he's doing in life. Huh? And nobody has a problem giving something to a respectable person. And shoes. Don't go barefoot unless you might be in Kumbh Mela or somewhere, Himalaya, where people appreciate Vairagya. But if you go to offices, businesses, government places, you have to just look nice. Now you're in Delhi, you already know that. But the overall is mostly, what is the impression? You see Prabhupada? He's got this oceanic smile. And it's just very attractive. People just feel, yes, this person is walking the talk. He actually lives the teaching. This is Acharya. Achar and Prachar. First comes the Achar, then comes the Prachar. Achar, they also take... Is the same Achar or is different? Spelled differently, right? So ISKCON is a brand name. The books look great, fantastic. But then people look at the book and they look at us and they look at the book and they look at us. And if the two don't match, then they say, no, this is not working. So we have to be authentic. We have to actually live this tradition. So you can't fake it. They will ask you, so how much do they pay you? What's your commission?
Yes, people ask.
Yes, people ask. Yeah, Krishna. Well, how much you making? Huh? Because they're in this banya mood, no? Rupi. That's their mantra. So you can tell them, look, I'm a businessman, I'm a professor, I'm an engineer, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm making 5 crores a year. But for me, the greatest joy, the greatest happiness is to just go and share this with other people. And they're like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. All right, he's not here for the money. Okay, good. So you can't go out there and want to take something from people. You have to have the mood of giving. And the more you give, the more you'll get. So you grow by giving. If you want to become bigger, and I don't just mean taller or, but if you want to become bigger, grow by giving. The more you give, the more you grow. Prabhupada was a giant. Even though by stature he was not that tall, but he was a giant. Why? Because he gave himself selflessly. And because he did that, other people paid him back with the same currency, and they gave their heart, they gave their lives to him. Because they saw this person is pure, this person is selfless. So seva is the most powerful thing that you can do. They will ask you, okay, it's not the money, but so why are you doing it? What's in it for you? And you can ask them, have you heard of this fantastic concept of seva? Like I went to medical checkup for my green card for US. And even though I have Swiss passport, so the doctor is a Jain guy. He had about 500 IT wallahs in his waiting room who all wanted to go to US, to make money, to hit the jackpot. So he asked me, why do you want to go there? You're Swiss. So I said, look, for me there's nothing there. There's no culture. But I'm going there because my guru told me I should go there. Have you heard of seva? And he said, people still doing this? Still people doing this? I said, yes, people still doing this. It's possible, So if they ask you why you're doing what you're doing, seva. So as your homework today, please write down the 5 top reasons why you want to distribute Prabhupada's books. You have to look into your heart. Why do I want to do this? It's not about the money, it's not about the fame, it's not about this or that. Why do I want to do this? You come up with your own reasons. I know my reasons. Because people are going to ask you, why are you doing this? Also your own mind will ask you, hey Baba, 1 hour, nobody took a book. Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting your time here? You have to know. So, I don't know if this answers your question. Some other questions? Yes?
There are different types of crowds while you are selling books, like old, young, old devotee, non-devotee. So how can we know how to start with the conversation with them so we have a very strong base in front of them?
Well, you have a general presentation that's pretty similar for everybody, but then you have to be a little bit individualistic and intuitive and just deal with people according to their nature and mindset. You can't just, shout and scream and yell, then you just get a certain type of response. But if you want to get better effect, you have to learn how to adjust and how to deal with people individually. So Krishna consciousness is a personalist movement, and you can do that by chanting very attentive japa. When you focus on your rounds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mattak smritir jnanam apanam cha. Krishna is there. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto. Mattak smritir jnanam apanam cha. Vidaisha sarvaya raham veda vedya vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Krishna is there in your heart. He will give you all the knowledge. And sometimes he will also take it away, depending on the circumstance. Have you ever gone to exam and you knew the answer but you forgot it? It's kind of embarrassing, isn't it? Because I know this, I learned this, but it's not there. And at other times, you're in a situation and you don't know. And Krishna just gives it to you. You will go up to people and you can tell them their age, their profession. You can tell them anything that you need to tell them. Because Krishna is guiding the chariot. Krishna is directing your words. So, it's a science. Yes, you can also become more expert by studying physiognomy and psychology. By experience, you'll get to know, okay, this person is like this person is like that. But you could always be wrong. But when you connect with Krishna, why do I do Bhakti Sibhushan? Because when you go out on Sankirtan, you become an assistant of Lord Chaitanya. And you can team up with him, and he's going to guide you how to touch people's lives. And it's a very satisfying, it's a very inspiring activity. Because he will move you, and he will let you tell the things that the people need to hear. So, experience will build up, but it's mostly about realization. Other questions?
Is it necessary to follow any dress code like Vaishnav dress code while distributing books?
Is it necessary to?
To follow any dress code like Vaishnav dress code while we are distributing books? Because when some...
Whatever you're comfortable in and whatever is suitable for the location. If you can do dhoti, kurta, sari, that's wonderful. If the place does not really favor that, like sometimes you may be in business environment or in government environment or in universities and saffron is not such a such a great idea. So you have to know your situation. And you try out and then you see what works better for you. Like even in San Francisco, if I'm in Haight-Ashbury, where there was the hippies and all that, dhoti kurta works fine. But if I'm in downtown business district, they see dhoti kurta, they just avoid me. They just go around me. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to be seen with a person like that. So you have to know, you have to judge by yourself. Okay?
You have taken the concept of service. When we say we are doing service, in India people are involved in many of other services like
yes.
There are different people, different faith. They said we are doing service according to us. So usually the kind of question across when we are...
Yes, so you tell them, look, so that's wonderful, you're doing service. So we're all together in the service industry. So you, me, same. You understand? You have to make that bond, you have to make that connection between the person and you. And then I show them, like I flew into Mumbai airport a couple of years ago, and I didn't have a phone that was working in India. So there was a young guy there in a green backpack on, and I said, Army? And he said, no, Navy. I said, oh, very nice. Can I borrow your phone? So I took his phone and I gave him my Gita. And And he didn't know what, he was just looking at the book while I was dialing the driver. So the driver was on the wrong gate, then driver came. And then he gave him back the phone, he wanted to give me the Gita. I said, no, you can keep it. So I said, you're in service. You see here, you see Arjun? He's also in service, you know. You, him, same. Just give a donation. And he gave. You have to make a connection. Sambandha abhideya prayoja. Without sambandha gyan, without seeing that connection, there is no abhideya and prayoja. So you have to make a connection. You understand? You may think, okay, he's already doing, so let him do. No. We're doing the same thing. There is only one. Seva is one. There's not two. There's not five. There is one. And I don't care, even if he's taking care of orphan dogs somewhere in Pakistan. I will appreciate him. And because I know how to appreciate him, he will say, hey, wow. And he will start to appreciate me. But if I cannot appreciate you, then why would you listen to me? Prabhupada was at John Lennon's house, and he talked to John Lennon's gardener about British sports cars. You know? Sports cars. Prabhupada has no interest in British sports cars. But John Lennon's gardener remembered Prabhupada and said he was a very nice man, a very nice gentleman. Why? Because he knew what was dear to my heart. He spoke with me about sports cars. He was able to appreciate Prabhupada because of that. So how hard is it to appreciate people? Turn to the person next to you and say something nice. Can you do that? Turn to the person next to you and appreciate them. Thank you for bringing all your disciples into Mayapur. I'm really happy to see your team. Well, it's my fortune. You're here. Okay, stop. How did it make you feel? Terrible, huh? It's really awful, right? Somebody says something nice. You know, when somebody says something nice, your heart just opens. You feel like, hey, somebody likes me. Wow. And what's the next thought? Well, what can I do for you? Me? I'm okay. I got everything. But you can take this book and give something. All right, I can do that. No problem. You know? So it's not rocket science. You know, you don't have to be an IIT graduate to do that. And you don't have to be a business person either. All you have to have is desire. Desire to do it. And I know there's a million excuses and you have so many other things to do, but we're the sampradaya of the book. You know that picture on Brahma Sanghita? Brahma, what is he holding in his hand?
Books.
Books, yes. Where did that book come from? He's sitting there on the lotus flower. He's holding a book. Tene Brahma Hridaya Likavaye Muyanti Atsureya. Krishna spoke Chatushloki Bhagavad to Brahmaji. Narad, books. Vyas, books. All our acharyas, books. So you can't avoid books. Yes, all books. And you may think, oh no, I know internet, all just pushing buttons. But this is also all based on books. You know that the printing press was invented to print Bibles 500 years ago by Gutenberg, German fellow. They printed about 300 Bibles. Today there's still about 30 copies left. That's 500 years later. If you sell hardcover books, they may be around for 500 years. Your book can be read. 500 years is how many generations? 20 to 30, depending how long people live. So 20 or 30 generations will get affected by your book distribution. The American Indians have a saying that you should think in terms of 7 generations. When you do book distribution, you're thinking in terms of 20 generations. There's a saying that if you have 1 year time, you grow rice. If you have 10 years time, you grow coconuts. And if you have 100 years time, you grow people. Prabhupada wrote these books for the next 10,000 years. So if you engage in book distribution, you help preserve Vedic culture by the mass distribution. of Vedic culture. Have you heard of the Bhadra Purnima?
Yeah.
You know that if you give Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima, you go to Goloka? It's a pretty good deal. So start making a plan who you want to give Bhagavatam.
Last year we gave 5.
Last time you gave 5. Wonderful. Yeah. But again, our own congregation doesn't have the books. They may have TV, they may have this and that, but they don't have the books. So make sure all of you and all of your friends have Prabhupada's books in their home. And then you make study circles. You start reading the books, discussing Tushyanti Charamanticha. You know, not discussing politics and business and weather, but discussing Bhagavatam, like we're doing now, just small. And you will see how your mind will start functioning in a much better way. And you will be able to do your job, your business, your studies, your chores, your household in half the time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 11 children, so much work from government, but such intense bhajan, such intense, right? So if you want to get more done, focus on this. And this will be your nucleus, your catalyst by which you can actually excel. Other questions? Yes?
Prabhuji has
How we can increase bulk distribution? How we can give books out to people in bulk?
Okay, the first thing is you should give books in bunches. Like if you go to the banana wala, does he sell one banana or does he sell bunches?
Bunches.
Always bunches. Okay, so you bundle them up like you've done with your venture, 4 or 5. Then you can have small bunches, you can have bigger bunches, you have sets. And then you can give cases of Gitas and cases of books. You can do truckloads of books. But you have to invest a little bit, you know. The small guy is on the street corner selling cucumbers or, you know, maslamuri or pani puri or, you know, whatever it is, puchkas. But the big guys, they're investing into relationships and stock. And then they move big quantities of goods. So depending on your capacity, you be Hanuman, you know, like that. Oberoi fellow. Or you do small bunches, depending on your capacity. But you have a vision. Prabhupada said, I have one disease, I cannot think small. I want everyone to become Krishna conscious at once. Now you do that. He's 7 years old. You go to the country which is famous for being the most passionate and the most expedient of all the countries in the world. And he went to America. And with the help of the Americans and Europeans, he pulled it off. And it took a while till it got back to India. Which year he got back to India? 71, like that. How many Prabhupada disciples are there from India? Handful. Few. And now West is suffering. Krishna consciousness is a little bit low in Europe and in America. But with the help of that wave that's coming back now from India, things are reviving. So the wave goes this way and then the wave goes that way. And then it goes all over the place. So you can be part of this revolution. Don't think, oh, it's been done 50 years ago, it's history, so I'm just here, biding my time, waiting to die. It's not a good outlook in life. Many of you are very young, and you're not yet reached your prime. But you have to invest in yourself. And you have to use your energy, your time wisely. I started when I was 15 years old. I'm 51 now. I'm already over half time. I already done 36 years. I already done 25 years of Russia and China and all that stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities, but we have to expand our mind. We have to expand our hearts and see that this is a team sport. It's not just about my little self or about my little family or my little group or even just my guru bhais, you know. I can only talk to the people who are in my sangha. No. You have to expand your mind. Because Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan, the complete chanting of the holy name. Which means I can work with people who are completely different, who have totally different mentality and mindset, but Prabhupada could work with them. Why? Because he had no motive. He had no personal agenda. He was ready to empower people, trust them, back them up, let them make mistakes. Because he knew Lord Chaitanya is backing me up. My Gurudev is backing me up. So don't be insecure. Don't have a small mind. Then Krishna can give you the whole world. He gave it to the Pandavas in 18 days. He can give you. So you're here, you're in the right place. This is Mahaprabhu's land. He's Adhikari Dham. He says, take, take, take. So you come here, you absorb yourself, you meditate deeply, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who was doing 9 years, 1 billion names, intense Nam Bhajan, and then he started Gaudiya Math, like Prabhupada, who was thinking, how can I do, how can I do, how can I do? My Gurudev has given me an impossible mission. Krishna consciousness is not just about putting something more on your resume or on your business card. Okay, member of Lions Club, members of Rotary Club, member of ISKCON, you know, and it looks great, you know, like, hey, look here. Huh? No. There has to be a change of heart. So, we have great hopes that you will take this Sankirtan movement to a new level. Krishna can empower anybody. When Prabhupada met his guru, he was just married, he had a young son, he was in business, and it took him a while. But he said, right there and then I accepted him as my spiritual master, and I accepted his mission as my life and soul. The mission of the spiritual master can be postponed, but it cannot be forgotten. In the moment, you may not be able to fully understand and implement, but you have to start making plans and thinking along those ways. That is part of the process. So, don't start doing big things. Prabhupada was happy doing small things. And because he was giving everything, Krishna gave him more and more and more and more and more. So it takes time. Practice makes perfect. If you want to become good at anything, it will take you 10,000 hours. And how many years is that, 10,000 hours? It's 5 to 7 years full time. Are you ready to put 5 or 7 years into something? I know some of you studied 5 or 7 years just for a simple job. Just to know how to, you know, fix something or program something or do something. You want to become a doctor? It'll take you 10 years. You're a spiritual doctor. We're doing open heart surgery. You know, you give them anesthesia, you cut them open, you take out all the Maya, you put in Krishna, you tie him back up, you bring him back to life, and you put him back on the road. But it means we have to be sharp, we have to be transparent. Then Krishna can use us as an instrument. Other questions?
Prabhuji, you said doing small things and thinking big things. How can you coordinate all of both of things?
Well, big things, you know, every big journey starts with the first step, you know. First you have to get out of bed. If you don't get out of bed, then what's the question of journey, you know? You can lay in bed and just be on your phone all day. Did you know that 70% of the people on the planet check their messages while still in bed? They don't go and take bath, they don't, you know, put on fresh clothes, they don't do puja and bhajan. They just start messing around with their phone. Have you ever done that? No. Huh? Of course not. You're devotees, right? You have a life. We have all done these things. So let's stop wasting time and let's get serious today. Because today is the good day to do that. Did you see Panchatattva, black? Huh?
Yeah.
Like fighters, huh? Beautiful, huh? Beautiful. And you have wonderful Sangha, wonderful teacher. There's no lacking. The only lacking that's there is our own mind that says, no, it's not possible, you know. Yeah, these east of Kailash guys and these, you know, Punjabi Bagh guys, they can do. I went to Pune more than 10 years ago. And I told Radhanath Swami Prabhu, my godbrother and friend, look, right now I know you're a little busy building this temple. And we were there in camp, you know, in that little shack. It was just a really makeshift, smallish kind of a place. And I told him, I accept right now you want to build this temple, so this is your excuse. But I went there every year preaching about book distribution. And I told him, once this temple is built, there's no more excuses. There is no more excuses. I want to see you number one in book distribution. And guess what? They did it. Do you know how they did it? A lot of people each doing a little bit. If you have a congregation of, let's say, 500 people, and they all do 10 books, that's 5,000 books. If they all do 10 books a day, what's that? That's 1.5 lakhs. It's not bad, right? It's a good start. You can do 1.5 lakh books just with 500 people doing 10 books a day. It's doable, it's possible. Radhanath Prabhu himself, he went to different people's homes and he sold 650 Bhagavatam sets in December. That's a lot of sets. That's a lot of books. Why? I told him, it's very simple. You just make a little ceremony. You go there, you do pravachan, you make installation, you know, and when they have that function, they invite their friends and colleagues and business people to the function. And at the function, there is at least 5 other people who say, I want this also. Can you come to my home? So from there, it just boom, 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 you know? And he just had so many people, he didn't, you know, he had to manifest his, you know, 8 different expansions, you know? Go to different people's homes simultaneously. You're sitting on a gold mine here. Everybody wants these books. Everybody knows about ISKCON. Everybody knows about Krishna. In the West, it's different, you know? People say, Baghdad, Gita? You from Baghdad? You know? Who's this guy? Who's this blue girl? They got no clue. They got no idea. But here, it's so simple. You just go straight up to them, put the book in their hand, and, you know? It's just a matter of execution. You can actually just jump right to organization. That's all. But again, if you're not solid in your bhajan, then when the results comes in, the money comes, the glories come, then you may think this is about me. And then you will become corrupted. So it's important to have solid sadhana. This what makes or breaks your preaching. So I'm very enthused, very excited to see all of you here in Mayapur. Please tell all your friends about Mayapur and come back. I know it's a different experience than Delhi. It's, you know, a little rural, so sometimes things may not work so great. Transportation, accommodation, there may be some gaps like that. So please apologize for the inconvenience. But try to absorb the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this mood of giving, this mood of spreading the holy name. And you got the whole world in Delhi. You got all the companies, you got all the embassies, you got business people, you got people from all over the world. So if you distribute books in Delhi, you distribute books to the world. Because everyone's there. Everyone is there. Otherwise, what can you give people? If you don't have anything of value, what can you give people? But if you have Bhagavad Gita, if you have Shriman Bhagavatam, you got the most valuable thing. Do you believe that?
Narendra Modi believes that.
Oh, he believes it. Yeah, okay. But just because he's the president, I'm asking, do you believe that? You have to buy into it individually. And then if you're fortified with that conviction, you can talk to presidents, business people, or simple housewives and students. You can be fully convinced that this is the best thing you can take. And you please give. One time there was a smart fellow. They had to challenge Prabhupada and he said, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita for free. Why are you charging money? It was in Delhi. Some Delhi Banya. And Prabhupada's response was, where did Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita? And that man, he was a smart fellow, he said, Kurukshetra. So Prabhupada said, yes. So, Kurukshetra, Delhi, 50 rupee transport charge. The man said, okay, and he paid 50 rupee. He got free Gita, but he paid for the transport charge. So some people, you may say, they don't want to buy Gita, but they will give for a good cause. So they'll give, and then you give them free book. We don't care, you know? We don't. Either this way or that 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 way. Get them, yena tena prakarena. Somehow get them to remember Krishna and do some seva. Some people, they'll say, it's not for the temple, it's just for you. I like you, I will give to you. Okay, fine, I take it here. And I also make a gift. You know, this is for you. Either way. So don't be stuck. Why was Prabhupada so successful? Because he was not stuck. He was flexible. He was fixed on the principle, but he was flexible on the details. He didn't mind on the process, on the way how to get there. So don't get stuck in some smart concept of you have to do like this or like that, and you can't do this or you can't do that. You can sell cars, you can sell houses, you can sell airplanes, and give people books. I distribute books wherever I go when I travel. You ever fly? There's security line, people are waiting in line. I work the line, and I do books there. You know, people can't run away, they're stuck. You can work the line in the grocery shop, in the supermarket. You just turn around and you start giving people books. It's natural, it just works. You can be very direct and bold, or you can be very funny, or you can be humorous, or you just appreciate them. Just turn to the next person and say, Hare Krishna. Are you going to east of Kailash, or Punjabi Bab, or which ISKCON are you going to? That's my question when I meet people from Delhi. What is your ISKCON? Which ISKCON do you go to? And they at least know 2 or 3. You know, oh no, I go to the Dwarka one, or I go to this one or that one. Oh, very nice, beautiful, okay, here, take, give. Like that. So appreciate people. They will appreciate you right back.
One devotee went in the operation theatre. Tell the doctor, here is book for it. The doctor says to the nurse, just take him out and take the book.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's possible. It's possible. But be satisfied. Be satisfied with whatever Krishna gives you. Whether he gives you big result, small result, no result, negative result. Be satisfied. Paramvijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is the greatest benediction. This is the greatest wealth that we have. If you have Krishna consciousness, you're the most wealthy person. I even give books to beggars. And I ask them for a donation. I was in Rishikesh. We were doing Nagar Sankirtan with 12 boys on Lakshman Jhula. And you know, this professional beggar is there with his cup, you know, and he sits there and waits. And after a while he gets bored, because he sees we're having much more fun. So he gets up, he starts dancing with us and jumping around and chanting Hare Krishna. And after a while, he took out from his pocket a whole stack of 10 and 20 rupee notes. And he was waving them in the air, showing everybody, look, I got money. And he started putting money in our pockets. Why do we take money from beggars? You know why? Because we're giving them an opportunity to show that they're actually not beggars, that they're actually wealthy, they're actually charitable, they're actually able to make a contribution, to make a difference. If you give somebody that gift, that they can feel generous, that is the greatest gift that you can give them. If you can listen to somebody and you validate them and you accept them, that is the greatest gift that you can give them. Do you know what most kids wish from their parents? Not money, not toys. They want their undivided attention. They want their time. If you're able to give your time and your attention to people and give them Krishna consciousness, that is the greatest gift. So Prabhupada has sacrificed his sleep to give us these books. If we don't read them and distribute them, we're basically telling Prabhupada, you know, you wasted your time. You know, we just don't get it. We don't have time for this. We're busy in the digital age of confusion. So, use your time wisely. Time is ticking. You can't bring one moment back for any money in the world. So I'm very happy to see all of you, and I hope that the family grows and expands, because Delhi has unlimited opportunities. And from there you can spread throughout India and throughout the world. That's what Prabhupada did. That was his strategy. So follow Prabhupada's methodology and you will be successful. Prabhupada started this movement with 40 rupees. 40 rupees that he got. And a box of books. So it's not about having huge capital and having a lot of contacts, but it's about having faith in the order of Guru and Krishna. Yasyadeve parabhaktir yathareve tata agurau tasyaite katita yarta prakashante mahatmana. If you please Guru, all the imports, all the meaning, all the truths of the Vedic literatures, all these verses that I quoted and all the others that I forgot already, they will become revealed in your heart. Like the zip file, when it unzips. Have you ever seen a zip file that unzips? Boom, 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 boom. All the folders, everything opens up. So if you just get the pleasure of Guru. So you're very fortunate. Count your blessings. But don't take it lightly. Don't think, oh, yeah, I'm a young man now. I'm a young woman now. Let me enjoy first. And then when I'm old, I can do this bhakti stuff. But for now, I need to do economic development and sense gratification. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. Any other points? So I know you're 40 people here, but I'm sure there's 400 of you back home, because not everybody can make it. So please tell your friends about Mayapur and tell them about this opportunity. You see, we're not selling books. We're giving people an opportunity. We're not selling a product. We're giving people an opportunity. This is the ticket to Goloka. If you have this, and you understand this, and you can teach this, you can give people the key to happiness, peace of mind, and success in life. And this is more precious than anything else in the world. So, thank you for sharing your time here with me, and for coming all this way to Mayapur. And we hope that you may come back soon, and bring all your friends. All your 5,000 friends that you have on social media. Tell them, if you like me, let's do something exciting together. Because going down to the mall and buying stuff or going to a movie is not exciting. It's as boring as a can of Coke that's been sitting in the sun for a day. You know, not very exciting, right? But your life is boring. It's the same stuff. But if you want excitement in life, go on Sankirtan. You'll never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to open the door. You never know who you're going to talk to. If you want to see the magic, go on Bhakti Sibushan. Don't go to the circus, you know. Go on Bhakti Sibushan. You will see the magic. You will see people who are tamasic, rajasic. But somehow Krishna touches them and all of a sudden the lights go on. And they're like, wow, what happened? And you have seen these moments, right? In your own life and in the lives of others. So, Krishna consciousness is exciting. Pratyakshava gamam dharmya susukam kartumanga. It's joyfully performed. It's great taste. Why? Because there is experience. There's actual realization. It's not a theoretical process. We're not trying to sell you salvation in heaven, you know, or that you go, to paradise with 70 virgins. No. You can get experience and satisfaction and happiness right now in this very moment. But focus on your bhajan. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare